try this. Don't use your phone for 4 hours a day. I don't even know if that's possible for people these days because they have to check their Instagram and Facebook, their email. They got to take photos of stuff. They have to document. Oh, I don't know if people believe that I was here at this place unless I take a photo of myself at this place. Everyone's guilty of it. Maybe I'm overreaching. 4 hours is too much. What about just take 1 hour, maybe your lunch break, leave your phone at the office and walk outside and go to wherever you're going and have lunch and actually talk with your friends. Let's all talk to each other. Let's kind of look around and see what's going on with the real world. And I think you'll enjoy your life a little bit better if you take time off of the computer. It's really important to detach, to unplug, so to speak, from the interface that is this basically your world that is when you wake up. Stop checking your phone when you wake up too. That's just a whole other rant. Hey, welcome to another episode of Sweaty Nerds. I'm still here, and Pluto is still here. Today we are going to talk about Spider-Man. Yeah, he's back at Marvel in the cinematic universe, but let's talk about his comic book origins. We are going to talk about District 9, an incredible science fiction film by Neil Blomkamp that mixes reality documentary style filmmaking with an alien refugee camp storyline. It's an incredible film. We're also going to talk about Myst, one of the early PC Mac games that was just you on an island trying to figure out how to get off that island, crazy map style. It was a really fun game. It was it was like playing solitaire. We're going to also talk about Evil Dead 2, Bruce Campbell, The Chin, Sam Raimi, The Starting Point, origin of horror comedy made like no other horror film ever made up until that point. Evil Dead 2, it brought the school to new school. Pluto and I are watching another episode of Sweaty Nerds. Let's go. Hey. Welcome back to another sweaty special effects nerds show. I'm Jon Schnepp, and I'm sitting here with my pal, special effects master Cig Neutron. What's going on? Thanks for being on the show again.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, well, good. We're going to talk about another incredible prosthetics freak fest. It's called Evil Dead 2, and it's actually just basically a glorified remake of the very first Evil Dead that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell made famous. But this one has a slightly different twist. They added way more humor. So the Evil Dead, it already had some humor, but this second one is basically the very first, what I would say, current modern horror comedy. It's got so many amazing comedic moments and purely horrifying, gore-filled moments. What are your take on Evil Dead 2?
Yeah, well, I think they were actually going for a real horror film in the first one, but then they realized after, it's kind of schlocky, it's kind of goofy, so they just embraced that for the second one and went with it, and man, the product was amazing.
I mean, there's I'll swallow your soul, swallow this. I mean, there's this, the list of lines and the scenes are endless. I mean, just like an eyeball flying, Sam Raimi's amazing camera work.
Yep.
I mean, what else can we say about Evil Dead than like it redefined horror for where we're at now. We're still in the aftermath of Evil Dead 2. It's still like one of the big daddies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So special effects wise, who worked on it?
So actually a lot of the guys that would later form K&B, Robert Kurtzman, Greg Nicotero, Howard Berger, and always huge team of people. But so yeah, that was like one of their earlier gigs, I think.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic effects from the stop motion animated corpse dancing around to when he has to cut his own arm off because it's like infected and then it's crawling around and laughing.
How about Henrietta? Probably, even though this is funny, probably one of the most terrifying horror monsters in film. Who's in my fruit salad? Yeah. That's like terrifying.
Yeah.
I can't see a gourd without thinking about Henrietta.
Yeah, there's something very specific to all of the creatures from Evil Dead. I mean, just even the way they talk and the float, the way the Sam Raimi kind of fractured movements and stuff. As all-time favorite, Evil Dead. If you've never seen Evil Dead 2, you got to see that, and then check out Army of Darkness, which is the sequel. Even though it's not called Evil Dead 3, it's a sequel to Evil Dead 2. And now they got a TV series coming out for Army of Darkness. So this is going to be madness. Yeah, Bruce Campbell. We'll see if it gets made. That's what they're talking about. I can't wait to see it. So check out Evil Dead 2. That'll wrap it up for us. Cig, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Cig Neutron and bizarrogogo.com.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks again, guys and gals, for tuning in to Sweaty Special Effects Nerds. I'll see you guys next time. It's going to get meta here today. Sweaty video game nerds. We're going to talk about a game that I played that she didn't even exist yet on the planet Earth.
Oh wait, 1993. Yes, I did. I was 7 years old, but I was too busy playing Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh, that's right. All right, well, technically she didn't exist because Myst was out, and I was playing Myst. It's one of the first, kind of fantasy games that's first person. It was done with a series of hyper cards, but man, was it a lot of fun. And it was this game that you basically, it was like unlocking puzzles with the sound of nature and whispering winds, and it was like unlocking the towers that were hidden and unlocking doors to get to the spaceship. I remember spending hours and hours and hours in a very calm and not any kind of attacking. No, creatures weren't after you. It was just really problem solving. A very innovative game for its time. It led to really, really cool 3D landscapes. I don't know. I know you've never tried it, but I don't know if there's even a reason to go back to play Myst.
That's the hard part. Even with Nintendo 64 games, it's hard to go back because the graphics just aren't great. But looking at these pictures, this is from 1993. That's incredible. What's also incredible is that this was pretty much made by one guy. He did all the graphics, he did the story, he did everything. His brother helped out. And this is pretty much the only game that they made, including the expansions. But it was the best-selling game on the PC from 1993 for 9 years until The Sims came out. So I'm actually kind of upset that I haven't played this game. It looks like something I would really enjoy.
Yeah, I think they're going to eventually come out with a newer version of Myst that people can play. That's what I remember reading earlier this year. So hopefully that'll happen. Check out Myst if you can on a very ancient computer that doesn't work anymore.
What, on DOS?
Yeah, right. It's I'm on a Mac 2 SE. I don't know. Where can people find you online?
If you want to look up my social media, just search Maude Garrett. Otherwise, check out Geek Bomb on YouTube because we do a lot of videos there.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Sweaty video game nerds. See you later. Hey, welcome back to another Sweaty Sci-Fi Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp. Sitting across from me is Chris Gore, founder of Film Threat. You've seen him on G4. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, John.
Hey, today we are going to talk about 2009's District 9, an incredible film by Neil Blomkamp. And boy, when I first saw that, I was lucky enough to see a double feature with District 9 and Inglourious Bastards. One of the best double features. I don't think it's been beaten yet. I actually almost got beat with Under the Skin and The Raid 2 from 2014. That was
That's
another
a weird combo.
Yeah, it was a fantastic double feature. District 9, what are your thoughts on District 9?
I love District 9 because I like the idea of there being aliens from another planet, but what's cool about this is these aliens aren't here to take over. They're actually aliens that ended up being slaves on a fugitive ship that suddenly we have to take in and put them in camps, right? So I love that concept, but then also it gets into a lot of social issues. You know, how do we deal with immigrants from another galaxy?
Right. Illegal aliens for real.
Right,
you know?
They're illegal aliens for real. And what I love about this film is it just keeps upping the ante. It just in terms of where you can't predict where this thing is going to go.
It starts out as just oh, it's going to be all, handheld camera, news type of stuff. And slowly, while you're watching it, you're immersed in the film, and then it just becomes a movie. Yeah. It's really quite a magical transition, too.
And I don't want to give away the end at all, but the end really does open it up for big things to happen.
Sure.
I'm not sure if we'll ever see a
District 10. I'd
love to.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic sci-fi film, and it deals with so many heavy issues about illegal aliens, immigration. What is it to be a slave and it's really a very socio-political film, just like the best sci-fi.
And kind of where our world politics is going. I mean, there's, it just showed the disparity that these aliens live in.
Yeah.
This horrible, poor neighborhood, and then everyone else.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film. So if you've never seen District 9, do yourself a favor and check it out. Chris, where can people find you online?
You can find me at chrisgore.com or follow me on Twitter at @thatchrisgore.
All right, thanks again for tuning into another episode of Sweaty Sci-Fi Nerds. Hey, welcome to another episode of Sweaty Comic Book Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp, and I'm sitting across from me is Comic Book Girl 19.
Hi, guys.
Today, we are going to talk about our favorite web crawler Spider-Man and some of his amazing comic books that you should be reading. Let's start off with you. What's your favorite Spider-Man comic?
I would say recently my most favorite has been Dan Slott's run on Superior Spider-Man, where Dr. Octopus takes over the brain of Peter Parker, and he is trying to be Spider-Man now. So you get to see a villain trying to be a hero in his own way while also dealing with Peter Parker problems, and Doc Ock seeing that being Peter Parker isn't quite as easy as maybe he thought it was going to be, and he's dealing with a lot of the same issues. And I thought that was like just a really fun run, because I feel like Peter Parker right now, he's like, I don't know, he's in a weird limbo where he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a teenager anymore, so you can't keep doing that whole, oh, hide my powers from my girlfriend and my parents.
Right.
But he's also doesn't know where he's going yet. So Superior Spider-Man is a great one if you're not necessarily into Peter Parker, but you still want to get some Spider-Man fun.
If you want to go back old school style, I'm going to highly recommend issue 1 to 30, I think it's 37 or 38. It's Stan Lee, Steve Ditko. The entire run of the very first, couple years of Spider-Man. Incredible. I mean, every single character that is around now was introduced back then, and it's so much fun to see Peter Parker in high school dealing with the first appearance of the Green Goblin, Scorpion, Mysterio, all the biggies, Doc Ock, everybody's in there, but it's just, there's nothing can ever replace Steve Ditko's art for me. I mean, it feels like there's always the new comics are always like coming from that. So if you haven't got that backbone of history, do yourself a favor and check out issues 1 through 38 of The Amazing Spider-Man with Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. That's one of my biggest recommendations.
Also, going back into the Spider-Man history at pivotal Spider-Man moments, Spider-Man Death of the Stacys is a really good one, especially if you've been watching the Amazing Spider-Man movies and you want to know where they're getting those storylines from. To a degree, they're also very different, but you see the death of Captain Stacy, who is another father figure in Peter Parker's life. So that's kind of a big one, to lose another father figure, and then to lose his daughter Gwen. I mean, it's like 3 deaths in a row for Peter, and it really messes with him. It's very human story.
Yeah, years later, they tried bringing Gwen Stacy back with the Jackal, like a clone version. I've got a version of a whole bunch of Gwen Stacys. They were like, hey, hang on a second. Let's keep the original. I mean, I think another really good issue to check out, if you've never read Secret Wars, that's when they got all the Marvel characters to go into another dimension. Really just literally an excuse to have a giant crossover and have like people meet each other. Hulk, I didn't know you were like, so angry all the time. Well, Captain America, it was just a reason to get everybody in some place and kind of give the entire Marvel universe a change up. So when Spider-Man came back, he was wearing this crazy black outfit, which was pretty cool looking, and no one knew what it was, and it was an alien, and years later you find out that it becomes Venom. Yeah.
Well, another alternate Spider-Man story right now that's coming out is from Edge of the Spider-Verse. You have Spider-Gwen, which is Gwen Stacy if she had gotten bit by the spider, and then her doing the whole Peter Parker thing, and then, and all of that stuff is really cool too. That's another great one where it's like a good alternate one, and it has like the best cosplay costume in it too. Like, oh, Spider-Gwen's outfit is so awesome. So for all my girls out there and all my cosplayers, definitely check out this comic book and this costume, because you're gonna love it.
Well, that'll wrap up our episode talking about Spider-Man and some of the amazing stories that you can read. They're all available for you to check out and get that history. Thanks again. I'd love to thank Comic Book Girl 19. Where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at CBGirl19 and also on YouTube, Comic Book Girl 19.
Awesome. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Jon Schnepp, and I'll see you at the next segment of Sweaty Comic Book Nerds.
Woo!
Hey, if you're not getting sweaty, you should be getting sweaty right now by clicking on these links: special effects, video games, sci-fi movies, and the comic books. We're providing you links about everything we just talked about in the episode, plus more. So click on those links, get sweaty, get playing, get watching. Let's get sweaty. Let's get sweaty.